Thanks for tuning in and welcome to the pool party. I hope you can swim because we're definitely diving into the deep end with a huge splash of truth, facts, evidence, information, and proof. Swim. Say what you mean. It's talk about talking. How we listen, how we hear, how we speak, how we hear what we're listening to when we speak, how a listener hears what we're saying, if what we're saying, what they're actually hearing and or understanding. Is it clear? Swim. Say what you mean. Well, that's just the beginning of understanding, because after we get that understanding, how do we accept it? How we respond if it's not what we expect is paramount. Are you okay with the truth? Are you man, woman, human, or spiritual enough to accept the truth? Let's find out.
Yeah,
welcome to The Swimming Pool with your host, Travis Bridges.
Good evening and welcome to The Swimming Pool. I am your host, Travis Bridges, and this is what we do on Wednesday night. It is The Swimming Pool. SWYM, swim. That is the acronym for say what you mean. It's important that we say what we mean. And I have a question for you. The question is simply, are you saying what you mean? Are you meaning what you say? I'm going to give you a second to think about it and then answer. Okay? Well, that second is up. If you're not saying what you mean and you're not meaning what you say, you're probably not living up to your fullest potential. We all have potential. We all have different gifts, skills, and talents, but we all have the ability to do our best, and we have the responsibility to do and be our best at all times. Not just when we feel like it, not just when it's convenient for us, not just when it benefits us. If you're going to be good, be good. If you're going to be bad, be bad. Just be. I wouldn't advise you to be bad. I have a guest later on, and we're going to be talking about a whole lot of stuff. And I have a canned guest that's going to come up after my live guest, and it's going to be interesting. So I want you to listen carefully. And I'm going to go ahead and do what I'm calling a disclaimer and or an apology in advance, because I watch lots of YouTubers, I watch lots of people online, and I watch some people get in trouble. And I say, well, why do they do that? And then I'll say, well, maybe they didn't do anything. Maybe people just didn't like what they said, or, you know, what their thoughts and views were. And then you can mess around. If somebody doesn't like you, ooh, you could catch some flack from that. So although I try to stay away from controversy, it happens sometimes, especially when you have a standing and or a platform and or, you know, you are kind of sort of established in a certain way. Somebody will find a way to go against you in some kind of way. And I don't want to speak any negativity. I'm just talking. Let me talk, okay? Can I talk? Thank you. I appreciate it. Hello to Christine and to Tasha. Tasha is coming around. I ain't seen you in a while, but that's all right. I ain't going to worry about it. Stick around with me tonight. I need you on this one. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to do something a little different this time. I have a video that I've been creating from a long time ago, like 5 or 6 years ago. I found some old videos, so I've been uploading them to the channel. If you are a subscriber and you tune in, you may have seen some of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to play the latest video while I wait for my my guest. Well, I'm not waiting. I'm going to call the guest once once this video finishes. But enjoy this video. It's outside. It's not like the sound is piped through like a mixer, like a major concert. So the audio is from the camera. So it's, you know, not the best, but you know, it's me from 5 years ago. I can see where, well, I won't even talk about it. I'll let you see. Do me a favor. Hold the spot you got. I'll be right back. When I come back, I'm going to talk with my live guest. Then we're going to take a short break. And then we're going to talk about order, respect, consideration, and we'll talk about the title of tonight's live stream. It's the number one thing. Okay? Hold the spot you got. I'll be right back.
Let's take our time tonight.
Okay, I stopped the video, and I'll tell you why. I'm just a technical junkie, and I like stuff to be right. And I'm hoping my actual video doesn't do what this thing did, because it's just not in sync. I spent a lot of time working on this for it to not be right, you know. So I'm just gonna just stop it, and I'm gonna take another break, and then when I come back, then I'll call my guest, and I'm gonna see if this is going to work. So just again, please be patient with me. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Mighty Horn Music. Smooth jazz, top 40, R&B, inspirationals, and more. Live from the Hollywood Home Studio. Like, share, subscribe. And thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate that really a lot. Yeah, so I'm going to get my guest on the phone, and we're going to go ahead and keep on moving. Thank you again for your patience, and we'll just rock and roll. Hope you're having a fantastic week already.
Sir.
Hey, man. You there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, I sure hope you're sounding better than what I'm getting in my monitors. I ain't going to worry about it, though. Anyway, how's your day going?
It's going good, man. It's been a very long day, but
Oh, I think I know what's going on. Hold on. I might be able to fix some of this. Oh, yeah, I can do some of this. It's just in my headset. You said it's been a long day?
yeah, it's been a long day, but it's been very productive.
Oh, yeah, I like those days. I like it when it's busy but productive. That's what I like to say, because when you're getting it done, you're getting it done.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to keep you long because I have a canned guest that's coming up a little later on. But I want to talk to you about some basic stuff.
Okay.
And I'm going to thank you in advance. I was telling my audience a few minutes ago that this is going to be kind of tough. I'm going to step into some hot waters. You know, last week it was a little tensed, and this week it might be not as tense. But I want to talk to you about order, respect, and consideration. And I wrote a whole bunch of stuff down and I had it all organized, forgot my notes. So now I'm having to shoot from the hip and just go with it. And I'm looking at my clock now. I know exactly when I think I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna say no more than 18, 20 minutes, and then we're gonna go. But I wanna ask you some questions first, and I'm hoping that the anointing will come back on me and I'll be able to make the point that I wanted to make. But I wanna ask you some questions about relationships, not just marriage relationships or dating relationships, but relationships between men and women in general. So I'm going to ask you some basic questions first. I want them to be kind of yes or no, and then you can go into your explanation of those. And anytime I ask for a yes or no, if you can, then go ahead and answer yes or no for clarity. Sometimes people can't because there needs to be an explanation, and I get that. But if I ever ask you a question and it's yes or no, then try to answer that before you explain. Cool?
Got it.
Okay. First of all, is there a difference between a man and a woman? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a big difference between a man or a woman?
Yes.
Based on your knowledge and your upbringing, is a man supposed to be a covering and or somewhat responsible for the protection of most women and children and elderly people?
Yes.
Is a man weaker or stronger than a woman?
Stronger.
Ooh, okay. Okay, thanks for asking that. And of course, I know that requires an explanation because there are going to be people saying, oh, what do you mean? But anyway, thanks for just answering the question. So in terms of fairness, where does equality come in to play as it relates to the difference between a man and a woman? This is a tricky one, so I want you to just tell me, I don't want to say in your own words, like you can speak someone else's word, but if a man and a woman is different, a man is stronger in some ways, where does equality actually fall? There's probably many places, but I want to hear from you. Where does equality come into play as it relates to a man and a woman?
Now, in my mind nowadays, the equality is a lot more than what it used to be. I see it where, a lot of women are doing a lot of things that we would just basically say that a man is supposed to do, or you would see a man doing back in the day.
We can be safe and say traditionally speaking.
Right, traditionally.
Because when you say supposed to be, I can already hear, well, says who? So we're going to just be safe and say women are doing things that traditionally men would do.
Right.
Can I save you on that one?
Absolutely. You
Okay.
can save me on that. And I say, like the cutting of grass and the changing of oil, the fixing of cars, things of that nature where, you would automatically think those are the things that a man does, but yet nowadays you see a woman doing this. You see women running 5-star companies where you would automatically think traditionally that is what a man would do.
Well, you did say traditionally on that one. So, okay, now I want you to answer the question in terms of equality. If a man and woman is different, in what ways are they equal? Because let me say this. Okay, I'm gonna give you I like silly examples because I like to use examples for principle purposes. If a $5 bill and a $10 bill are different, then how are they equal? So using that logic or example, a man and a woman are different. We already established that. How are we equal to them, or are they equal to us? I mean, there are many ways. I'm going to tell you what I think, but I want to hear from you. How are we different? Or equal, rather, sorry.
We're both human. We both have feelings. We both have emotions. We were both created in the image of the Almighty. And that, to me, that is the biggest piece of the equality, where we are equal, where we are one, because of Jesus Christ.
Okay. You said God made us. Did it, based on your knowledge, do you think, feel, or believe that God created a man and a woman equally? Yes or no? Did I lose you?
I hate the.
Listen. This is scary, and I know you. Nobody knows your name, and I ain't gonna tell nobody your name. So you're gonna be safe, in terms of that. And I know this is, like I said, I already know this is scary for me. But there are some things that I want to say and things I want to know, and I need a little help. So do the best you can. Based on your knowledge and your understanding, did God create man and woman equal? Yes or no?
He didn't create us equal in a sense, but as human beings, in its entirety, and us all encompassing the one Savior, we are equal, but there are different aspects to both.
Okay. You walked that tightrope pretty good, but you made it to the other side. So if I had my sound effect, I'd have the audience, y'all clap for him. So this is another question. Based on whatever equality you were conveying, or maybe insinuating, or pointing out, are the responsibilities the same? Yes or no?
Nowadays, yes. Traditionally, if we're talking about back in the day, no. The responsibilities and the roles were completely different. The man was seen as the sole proprietor of the household. He was seen as the one to, go out. He's the breadwinner. He is the protector. He's the covering for the family, where the woman was the one to bear the children, sit at home, create the home, raise the kids. Where now those roles have reversed in a sense, and where you would traditionally see that the man operating in that sole proprietor role, now you see women in that responsible role.
So when I hear you say back in the day, was okay. So what happened then? Did God change, or did we change? Who changed? Because if it was one way because of, for whatever reason, and now it's different now for another reason, what changed and who changed it? Because based on what I understand, God says the word is the same, yesterday, today, and forevermore. And he is, the same. His word will not change. So if we started out that way and we got that instruction or information or that tradition from somewhere, What changed? Did God say, okay, women, you can now be whatever the change is now in this day from back in the day? What changed and how did it change? If you don't know, just say it, because I'm not going to say I know.
So how I feel about it is, of course, we know that God's word is solidified. You know, it's already settled in heaven. His word is his word. And he, you know, he's an unchangeable God. It is not him that changed. It is the people that changed. The men lost their way. The men moved out of their place. And at some point, at some time, the men that were in position in that sole proprietorial role that were raising up a family of structure where they were the breadwinners, they were the covering, and for some reason, in my mind, somehow that link in that chain got warped or it got broken, and it didn't bleed off into the next generation. That next generation didn't get what that previous generation got in order to teach the following generations to come how to be that provider, how to be that covering, how to be that man that we were intended to be.
Okay. I definitely wished I could spend a whole lot more time on that, but I got what I needed, and I'm going to try to move on. I'm going in a totally different direction, so turn that hat to the back, and we're going to do something different.
Okay.
What does order mean to you in terms of the definition that you know? What is order?
To me, order looks like structure. No chaos. Free flowing. Smooth sailing. Things are in alignment. That's kind of what order looks like to me.
Okay. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. I mean, you could go on, but that's you got the gist of it, and thank you for that. Okay, I want to talk now about what my live stream is kind of based upon. I have this really strong belief, and this isn't something that I've always, had with me. It just happened, I'm going to say the last 3 to 5, 7 years or so. I've been really taking a look at myself, and I just kind of came up with this concept that there's an answer to every question and there's a solution to every problem. I believe that. Do you believe there's an answer to every question and a solution to every problem?
I do.
Okay. I am convinced that there should not be chaos. And I am convinced that things should be free flowing. I am convinced of all the things you mentioned as you described carefully what order is to you. If we looked in the actual dictionary, you would see most of those words and even more. However, I have noticed when it comes to communication and conversation, there's a culprit to disorder. And I believe you can clearly hear it. I've got this thing about documenting conversations via my live stream. And sometimes people don't hear, they don't listen. We don't speak what we really mean, and we don't say, we don't always mean what we say. I think there's a combination of a listener and a speaker when it comes to conversation and communication. And I'd like to talk about the chaotic times, because if you and I are having a conversation and there's order, there's no need for that word you said, structure. If we're getting along, if we're okay, we don't need to run anything through any kind of filters. However, at the moment, there is disorder, because there's order and there's disorder. Disorder is the same as chaos. In order to bring things back in order, there are some guidelines and some things that really can be done. Because if you said it and I believe you meant it and you agreed with there's an answer to every question, there's a solution to every problem. Well, how do you get to that solution and how do you get that answer? Well, I'm glad you asked. I think if and when we cannot, and I don't want to take this out of context, if we can step aside from our thoughts, personal thoughts, our personal beliefs, and our personal feelings, the further we get away from those things, the closer we get to order. Can I get any kind of agreement on that, in that, you're following where I'm going? Because I'm going to go somewhere, I'm going to stop, and we're going to be done probably in 8 more minutes. In order to get to, so am I making any sense at all?
Absolutely. It's almost like you have to step out of selfish and step into selfless.
It's not easy to do when you have already said something, you've already claimed who you are. I think it was Tony Robbins. I'm going to name drop. He has this thing that says we have a tendency to be consistent with who we believe we are. And if I say, okay, well, this is who I am, and someone shows me something different, I have to remain who I believe or who I think I am. So back to my point, if we can remove our personal agendas out of the way, we can get to order. And I would like to think that I don't think I've discovered anything, but I think what I have created makes sense. And I say all the time on my live stream, I don't want anybody to prove me wrong, but there have been many times, whether I'm online or in person, or even on a phone with someone that's not being documented or that's not on a platform, as to where I've made attempts to be orderly using basic principles that don't involve my personal feelings, thoughts, and beliefs. When I say it doesn't involve it, we got to have something as a foundation, but that something as a foundation is something that I like to talk about in terms of, filters, basic principles or universal principles, things that are already established that are called points of references, and the law. We can't break the law and think we're going to be okay in society. We can't go against universal principles. We can't jump off a building head first, 10 stories and think we're going to feel good when we hit the ground. And, we just have to do certain things in a certain way. And I think communication and conversation requires that. When I look at people, I listen to conversations, whether it's court TV, I like to watch court shows, and I like to watch, anything. I hear a conversation, you can hear where basic principles are being utilized and considered when someone is trying to reason. And when there is no order, and when there is no order and there is no discipline in that principle of trying, because of course, naturally, we all want our way. I can't think of anyone who would not like to just have everything their way. Do you want it your way sometimes?
Absolutely.
Well, if you could just have your way, oh my God, if there were no rules, starting from biblical, principles and biblical rules, this place would be crazy. That's why I think, rules and laws and points of references and principles are in place for us to follow. Doesn't mean we don't have liberty in some areas and some places. But I'm going to go ahead and close because I said 8 minutes and my time is up. I just want to stress it's important that we have consideration when we're interacting with people. And I wanted to get more into the man and woman relationship, which is where I started. I think relationships between man and woman, whether they're spouses or just co-workers or brothers and sisters, because we are different, doesn't mean we're better than the other. My sisters, I have sisters and brothers. My sisters, there's certain things that I'm not gonna just let them do. If I see them carrying something, it's just not gonna, I'm not gonna let it happen. And if one of my sisters sees me burning the toast, you know, not that it's a woman's place to be cooking or anything, but they're better at it naturally, you know, doing home things. If I start trying to fold a shirt and it's crooked and not orderly, it's just not what I do. Or if I see a woman, you know, trying to edge the grass with the edger and the weeder, they don't do it the same way. Not saying that some can't, and not saying that there are some men that can't keep house and cook better than some women. But from a traditional perspective and from the point that we are different, there are some things that need to be orderly. And I'm just going to leave it right there. Thank you so much. I want you to say something in closing before I go, because I do have another guest coming up. And I just, you know, I want you to just, you know, to close before I go. Thank you for listening and thank you for participating.
Absolutely. You know, I thank you for the conversation. It's always great to have that open dialogue, you know, and it's always great to be chosen to be a part of your live stream. You know, it's all milk and honey my way.
I appreciate that. And I know I'd like to talk about my live stream, about it being therapy for me. I know some YouTubers that get tons and tons of attention and views, and that's fine. You know, especially those who have something to say, and I watch a lot of them. I hardly ever watch regular TV anymore because of the freedom with the internet. And, you know, if my channel or my concept or the concept that I've discovered, you know, catches on, that'll be great. But I'm here for therapy because I experience chaos, and I will go on record and say, yeah, I sometimes cause it, or as my life coach would say, I create some of it. But some of that I create or that I don't create, you know, I try to find a way to bring order, and it doesn't always work, you know, in my favor, or, you know, whatever I'm trying to, you know, to bring peace and order to. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. We'll talk again real soon. Do me a favor, if not, you know, tonight, check out my live stream, because it's kind of interesting. I'm not on the path that I wanted to go down with you as it relates to what's coming up next. But try to check it out, and we'll talk again at another time.
Sounds good.
Okay. Have a good night, bro. Love you. Appreciate you.
Love you too, boss.
Okay. All right. There you have it. Another caller, and not another edition of SWIM. It's the acronym for Say What You Mean. I'm going to take a short break. When I come back, I'm going to speak about the number one thing, what men want, what men prefer, and what naturally works out if we are able to obtain it. I'm speaking as a man and for men, not all men, but again, the number one thing, what we want or prefer, and the difference it makes if and when we can get it. I'll be right back.
Mighty Horn Music. Smooth jazz, top 40, R&B, inspirationals, and more. Live from the Hollywood Home Studio. Like, share, subscribe. And thanks for tuning in.
Hey, you.
Hey,
What's cracking?
not much. What you doing?
Trying to get somebody to do a live stream with me.
Okay. Where you at?
You know where I am.
You is where you is.
I'm where I'm going to be.
Boy, I'm sitting here this test. I got 3 weeks left.
Oh, wow. You sound like you're breaking up a little bit. So does that mean you don't have time for me right now?
Oh, you need, what do you want? What you want to do?
I want to do a live stream. I'm pre-recording it, but I need your permission to document it so that we can just have a quick conversation. You need a break anyway. I won't take longer than a half hour at the max, even if we do an icebreaker. Okay, so you can chat with me?
Yeah.
All right. So then I need you to make sure you don't have any interruptions and that you're on your phone, so where you can speak directly into the phone, either with an earpiece, not on speaker though.
No, I'm talking right to the phone. I'm sitting on the couch.
Awesome. Well, first of all, how are you?
I'm not complaining. I'm just trying to get through this. It's
Okay.
a lot of memorization. Trying
Good.
to learn all the muscles and insertions and origin. Oh, Lord, I wasn't expecting all that.
Okay. Well, we'll celebrate in due season.
We shall.
Okay. So let me get right to it, and I'm going to look at my time. I see what time it is. I'm going to keep you inside of 30 minutes from whatever official time is we start. So I have some questions I want to ask you, and I just kind of want you to just kind of know how this works. And I'm going to give you the short version of a long, set of drawn out, preferences. Sometimes I'm going to ask you a yes or no, and I'm going to need that yes or no. Sometimes I'm going to ask you for something specific and particular, and I'm going to need that. Anytime you need to elaborate on something, feel free to do it, but try not to do it at the moment I'm trying to get a specific or a yes or no. Otherwise, it's going to be an easy and relaxed conversation. Okay.
What's our topic?
Well, I'm going to jump right into it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I have, I don't even like calling myself a YouTuber, but I'm just on YouTube. I'll just say that. But I have quite a few that I have listened to over the years and that I still listen to now. And they have quite a few things that have piqued my interest. Some people are just like radicals and, but I'm kind of being reminded of quite a few YouTubers that I, follow, that have certain things that they say that I want to ask you about your opinion. Maybe you know who these people are, maybe you don't. But I want to ask you, from a woman's perspective, what are the 3 things, starting with the most important thing, that you think a man wants and looks for in a woman and or a long-term mate? Three of the most important things.
The 3 things that I feel a man looks for in a partner this day and age. Stability. 1.
Remember, I want these from the most important to the least important, the top 3. First one is stability. Go ahead.
I think they want eye candy. They want a woman to look good on their arm to represent them. That's 2.
Okay.
And thirdly, I feel that they want someone that's going to treat them like a queen, that's just going to lift them up.
What?
That's going to treat them like what?
Like a king. Just lift them up at all times. Empower.
How would you what would that be? Because I guess stability, is subjective. Looks is subjective, and you said someone is going to treat them like a king. Can you give me so stability?
Stability meaning somebody that.
No. I know what stability means. I'm saying,
okay.
What the third one? What is the third one? A little more particular.
Someone that's going to give them that feel good. It's going to always lift them up and tell them what they need to hear to empower them. Whether that may be mentally, stimulating them.
So they need stimulation.
Mm-hmm.
Is that mental, physical, financially? What I need to be a little more specific.
When I feel that men they want a woman that's going to praise them, constantly remind them that they're worthy.
Okay, I'm looking for one word.
Okay, well, these are my answers.
I got it, and I'm still trying. I want to make sure I understand you. So I guess I'm gonna try to help you out. I hate speaking for you, but I mean we're struggling here. So you're saying you think a man looks for an encourager?
A man, they want to be praised. That's what I find.
So a cheerleader.
A cheerleader, a motivator.
Okay, I really need one word. I mean, I've given you two: an encourager, cheerleader. I'm trying to get your word.
I'm giving you my word. You don't like my word.
Okay, give it to me again. I missed it.
They want to be praised. They want someone that's one word, praised.
Okay, so a man. So okay. So the top three things, from the most important to the least: stability, looks, and praise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next question. Thanks for that. How many men have you asked that specific direct question that you can think of in that way? How many men have you said, what three things do you want? Remember, these are the things that you think men want in a mate or woman. How many men in the past, I'm going to say 20 years, that you have asked that specific and direct question?
20 years? 4 or 5.
Five men you've asked that specific and direct question.
Mm-hmm. What do you want? What are you looking for in a woman?
And out of 5 men, you've gotten stability, looks, and praise. That's been the response that you've gotten?
No.
Okay, hold on. Hold on, slow down. You got slow down with me. This is the specific time.
Okay.
So you told me this is what you think just now. Stability, that's what you think. Now I want to ask if you've taken a survey, and you just said in the past 20 years 4 or 5. So I'm going to bring that to 5. Out of the 5, have you gotten those 3 answers from those 5 requests?
1.
Pardon?
So yes, stability.
Stability. So if you had to average those 5 that you have asked, that they've also, the majority of those said at least stability would be the average.
Yes.
Okay. And if you had to guess, what type of stability are you talking about? Because as I said, everything you just said is subjective. Looks is subjective, stability, and even praise. So what type of stability are you?
Financial.
Wow. Okay.
What?
No. I'm listening. Okay. Now I'm going to do a recap before I move forward. Okay. You gave me what you think a man is looking for. And then you gave me what you think out of the 5 that you personally question yourself. The bottom line was financial stability.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. All right. Next question is, who's stronger, a man or a woman? Easy question.
No, it's not an easy question.
Then answer it to the best of your ability. Who's stronger, a man or a woman? One answer.
Stronger.
One answer to the best of your, using your level of intelligence, whatever that is. Answer that question to the best of your ability you have 2 answers. Bubble one in. A man is in one answer and a woman is the other. Bubble one in. Which is stronger? Say it again. You're breaking up. It's probably my phone, but
I'm not hearing.
I don't think that's a fair question.
Okay, slow down. This is what I ask you up front in terms of preferences. I know you don't think it's fair, but I'm not asking about your thoughts right now. You can tell me. Okay, hold on. Slow down, please.
Okay.
I put the rules and the preferences up front. You can tell me all about your thoughts and what you feel is fair anytime before we finish. But right now, I'm looking for yes or no's and or specifics. So I'm giving you a situation where I'm asking you a question. This is a test, so to speak. The question is, based on your level of intelligence, which is stronger, a man or a woman? Bubble one in and give me the answer, because we just a man.
Yes.
Okay. Flip side. Which one is weaker, a man or a woman? Best of your ability.
Which one is weaker?
That's what I said. Bubble one in and give me the answer.
A woman.
Okay. Based on what you know to be a social norm or a reasonable expectation of what's already been established in society, is it good or bad for a man to physically strike a woman? Good or bad? That's the answer. Bubble one in.
Bad.
Bad. Physically. Okay, now here comes the trick in that question. And I say trick because it's going to just seem like a trick, but it's not a trick. And it's because I'm saying it up front. Women are really strong with influence. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
You agree that women talk more than men according to studies, correct?
Yes.
Do you believe that a woman can really out-talk a man? Women have more words, and women are even more educated for the most part in our culture anyway than men. So a woman can pretty much out-talk a man. Is quicker on her feet, than a man, correct?
I agree.
Okay, yeah, I agree too. So if we had to narrow down the strengths and the weaknesses, because you're right, it was a tough question. You can share with your thoughts of how fair it is or not in a few minutes. But a man is physically strong or stronger, and a woman may be more verbally strong. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Ooh, wow. I'm getting real good cooperation out of you. Thank you for the yes and no's. And I'm sure you're going to elaborate at your own given time at a particular given time. So if a man was to hit a woman, he would probably be looked at negatively in society, correct?
That's right.
Okay. If a woman was to verbally abuse a man, would she be looked at negatively in society, yes or no?
Yes.
Wow. You're 10 for 10 already. So, yeah. Thank you. I'm grateful. Ooh, I thought I was going to be sweating and spitting and foaming at the mouth by now, but we're good. So, when a man hits a woman, we can call him a bad man. He's a punk. Can we say that?
Yes.
Okay, but when a woman gets in a man's face, rolling her neck and pointing her fingers and stuff, and she's out talking and over talking a man, is she a punk too? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
Because men, we cannot out talk y'all. But we can, for the most part. I'm going to say most men are stronger than women physically. We can wrestle. We can rough you up physically and probably dominate. You guys have been proven to overtalk and out-talk us. Guaranteed. Mm-hmm. So, here comes the big question. Why is it that many women, and I know you can't speak for all, and I'm not asking you to speak for all. We're talking about statistics and what you know in your personal experience. Why do so many women go toe to toe with men verbally. If a man is talking or speaking or trying to convey something, why does a woman, for the most part, and I'm going to say in my experience, women have a way of abusing that power more so than men abuse power from a physical perspective. Men know what will happen to us if we physically abuse a woman, and especially if we are caught, even by our peers. I don't think I would let a man just abuse a woman physically. We just won't. Society won't do it. But women can seem to get away with arguing, fussing. I'm going to use a word that's going to strike hard. Talking back.
Okay.
Women can get away with it easier. Why is it that women seem to be dominant when it comes to standing up when a man is speaking or when a man has spoken, to try to verbally dominate? That's a question.
They just want to be heard. Apparently, they don't feel that they're being heard by their partner. And unfortunately, voicing that opinion is the only recourse they have, because they know that they can't physically
Slow down.
dominate a man.
I heard you say the only. Do you mean that, or are you just speaking?
I mean that.
So
A woman cannot, man is stronger than a woman, so the only voice she has is her voice. She can't do anything physically. Nobody should be doing anything to anybody physically.
okay, I'm listening to what you're saying. Okay, I'm listening and I'm hearing you. I want to make sure I understand what you're saying, because based on that logic, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and vice versa. So you're saying that a woman, that's if that's the only choice she feels she has, and you're saying it's the only choice she has, then she should then exercise that, just verbally dominate a man because she has the upper hand. We just cleared and said that a woman can out-talk a man, and usually does over-talk and out-talk a man. That you're saying that makes it okay because how she feels, and if it's the only option that she has in communicating.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay, I'm trying to get clarity.
No, you asked me a question, why women do it. I don't agree with it, but you're asking me why it's done. That's why it's done. But it's not right either way.
No, of course. So we know it's not right, but you are aware that it is done. I would say 70% more than, I think women verbally abuse men 70% more than men physically abuse women. Is that a safe statistic?
I can't agree with that.
You can or you cannot?
I cannot.
Okay, well, let me say,
I don't know statistics.
okay, no, neither of us know, but let's just use our I don't want to use the word intelligence. Let's just say people tend to do more stuff that they can get away with more often than people. Women can get away with verbal abuse more so than men can get away with physical abuse. Is that a safe assumption?
Yes.
Ooh, okay. So I'm going to go on record. We're going to do the statistics later. I believe that women verbally, I don't want to use the word, women verbally, what is the word? I need a safe word. Women are more verbal 70% more so than men are physical towards women. Women are more verbal towards men than men are physically aggressive towards women. Can we say that that's at least a fair assumption? You don't have to know about it. We're just for the sake of getting through the conversation. I don't know myself. I do. Let me say, I don't know about speeding. I know that a person is more likely to hit the gas a little more on an open road when they don't think the cops or the patrolmen are watching than they would be when they see speed traps around. I don't know that, but I can assume that, yeah, me being a driver and me being, I know that people are more likely to speed when they don't think there's cops around. So women, when they don't think that they're going to be, held accountable, they do it. So I'm just going to say, women are more verbal than men are physical. That's not hard assumption.
Well, from my perspective, I'm thinking about the high rate of domestic violence, especially since the pandemic. And
I know. Listen, you okay. Based on that, then, what do you think of the high rate of men who don't report abuse from women, physical or verbal abuse? You know that men don't report verbal abuse. You know that, right?
And men don't. A lot of men don't report physical abuse.
My point exactly. So if we're going to talk about the high rate of domestic violence, I'm not disputing that or contesting that at all, but I'm trying to get to a point that I don't want to lose focus on.
Okay.
Because
what is that point?
Okay, I'm going to try to get back to it now.
All right, Killer.
Okay. Women verbally, women are, I have to be careful, and maybe I should have thought this out, because I do have, I have quite a few places I want to go. We already established that it's not good or right for a woman to verbally, I don't want to say attack either, and I don't want to use the word abuse, but when men speak and women have a way to contest it, you're saying the only way that they have, we use that word only, is that they overtalk and outtalk and loud talk men, because if they don't feel like they're getting heard, that's what they do. That justifies them doing that.
Well, it doesn't. I'm not saying it justifies it. I answered your question. Is they do it. I don't agree with either or. But it is, yes, it is done.
Of course it's done. Okay.
A lot of it has to do with how they're raised.
Oh, no. We're getting ready to get into another conversation. Of course it does. And I'm not going to contest that either. Sure. Okay. The number one thing, and this is based on statistics. Your 3 words, that I asked you were based on you, and then you came with what you felt like, the men you have interacted with are looking for. I'm going to say, as a man myself, I'm not concerned about a woman's financial stability, and I'm speaking for myself. And I would bet $100 right now that if I went and asked 10 men randomly in not Walmart, let's just say in the bank, if I just 10 men, the first 10 men that walked up in the bank, if I asked them this question, they would not say that they're looking for a woman with financial stability. And to hear you say that, I have to respect what you think and what your perspective is. But I want to tell you what I know based on the men that I have interacted with and that I talk with, and that I as a man myself. I'm going to tell you what that number one thing is, and then I can give you the other 2 if you want to know. But the number one thing that we're looking for are, for one, we do want you guys to be, you ladies to be attractive. That goes without saying. We're beyond attractiveness. We're talking about settling down or being committed or definitely marriage. The number one thing is, I'm going to do a drum roll right now. Are you ready?
She's ready.
Okay. How about you give me a drum roll? Give me a drum roll.
No, You do the drum roll. I just want to hear this.
Okay. It's called cooperation.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The number one thing we're looking for is cooperation. Yes.
Cooperation or go along with their program?
I just said which one. I'm not sure how you're taking it, but I'm
taking it as going along with their program.
Okay, hold on a second. But I didn't say that. I want to remain orderly in our conversation. I'm telling you that it is cooperation. So you're receiving that as going along with what were your words?
Their program.
Okay. So first of all, that's not what I said. And
It's not what you said.
And it's not what I meant. But I want to try it on since that's the way you see it. I have to be considerate of how you see things. Although, perception is not reality, definitely not even most of the times, let alone all the time. But if that's how you see it, let's talk about it. Let's just say that that's true. A man does look for that in a woman, for her to go along with his program. That's what your words were, right? To go along with his program.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What do you have a problem with that? Yes or no?
Yes.
Whoa.
Depending on what the program is.
We're not talking about what the program is. If you have a problem with it, you have a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your answer. You have a problem. We can talk about the whys. You have a problem with a man having a strong desire and a priority to want cooperation from the woman he chooses as his, significant other. You have a problem with that.
No, I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem depending on what the program is.
Okay, hold on a second. That's getting hairy, and that could take a long time, and definitely we can have another conversation, and I'm almost out of time right now. I want to make sure I'm hearing you.
Okay.
The main thing that a man wants from a woman is cooperation.
Mm-hmm.
You said you have a problem with that, yes or no?
I have a problem with it. Yes.
Okay, hold on, slow down. This is one of my yes or no's. Do you have a problem with a man having that as a priority, wanting and needing that from a woman, yes or no?
That's not a yes or no question.
But answer it. Okay, so hold on a second. Let me agree. Hold on a second, please. I asked for this up front, and I need you to cooperate. You don't have to go along with my program.
Okay.
I asked you in the beginning. There's going to be yes or no's. I need you to be specific before you give me your long explanation, because I know you can out-talk me. In order for me to know where you're going, I want to hear you say that's what I am confident. I would bet $100 that 10 men would, 10 out of 10, no, say 9.5 out of 10, would say the main thing they want and need, require, and request is cooperation. You saw it.
I agree with you.
Pardon?
I agree with you on that. I agree with you. If you poll 10 men.
No. Hold on. I'm not asking you if you agree with it. I asked you, and you already answered. You said you have a problem with it. I know you would agree with it. You almost can't. You don't have a choice. But you have a choice, of course. But you said you have a problem with it. Yes or no? You already said yes, you do. I'm just getting confirmation. You have a problem with that being the number one, especially considering that you said, what were your answers? Stability, financial stability, looks, and he want praise. praise, we can really. So you have a problem with that? Yes, correct?
Yes.
All right. So now that I've gotten that out the way and we're out of time and I want to be respectful of time, I want you to go on and say whatever you want to say in regards to everything. You can ask me questions now because I'm done. I'm grateful. I thank you for your honesty and your cooperation and your participation. So I'm going to let you close.
I don't have a problem with a man having, if he has a plan, if the plan is something that I can go along with that benefits both of us. I love a man that can lead. But he has to be able to show me that he can lead me. And it's for both of us. It's not one-sided. That's when I'd have an issue. That's when I'd have a problem. So that's why it was a hard question to say yes or no. As far as would I allow a man to, lead me, or of course, and same thing. I'm sure it's the same thing for a man. You want to be able to know that you're.
That's another live stream. We're not talking about the men right now.
No, I understand that. That I to voice my opinion or express.
I know, but I'm just saying I'm gonna ask the editors to strike that. We're not talking about men. We're talking about women right now. We can talk about women. We can talk about men on the next one. But right now, because we're not talking about what men would do, or it's the same thing for men. Because that's another live stream. So your closing statement is. Well, I'm gonna end, but I'm gonna give you because I still have just a couple more, like a minute or two. I want you to go ahead and make your closing statement based on everything you wanted to say and explain. I think you just did, but is there any more before I close? You okay?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna close, and then this is gonna be it. And if you want to say something else, then so be it.
No, I'm good.
I think, from a generic and foundational perspective, anytime a woman overtalks and outtalks a man, I don't want to say she's wrong, but I do think she's going against the natural grain of what is expected from the actual species. Just like anytime a man overly and aggressively physically abuses a woman, he's going against something that I think is natural and natural, and it happens often. That is why men prefer cooperation, because when a woman challenges what a man has to say, and I know you can get into, well, if he's going in the right direction, if he's leading me in the right place, if he has a plan, all of those things make it subjective and makes it tough. But I'm speaking from an organic, generic perspective. I don't think that, a woman would actually go out with a man and date a man that she doesn't like or trust, or she's attracted to, or at least have an initial trust in. But once you start to get into, after a few dates in a serious, you start dating, and when women stand up and go toe to toe back and forth with men, and I know this could be totally taken out of context and sound like I'm being chauvinistic and dominant in any kind of way, I want to say that I think it violates a natural rule, and I'm not sure what rule it violates. It's something nature, just like, a man that would physically attack a woman that would aggressively verbally communicate with a man, in that way, does something to the conversation and does something to the relationship when a woman can really be that firm. And I'm just going to leave it right there. And I know that this live stream is probably going to get me some criticism, and that's okay, because I don't mean any harm. I want to say before, this goes, I'm not trying to say anything negative or bad, because everybody should respect everybody. man or woman. No man should hit a woman, and no woman should hit a man. No man should verbally attack or verbally be abusive to a woman, and a woman should do it to a man. But when a woman does that, in some way it starts to break down the fabric, of what men are made of. Just like a man hitting a woman, it does something to her. Have you ever, this is a personal question, have you ever been physically abused by a man ever in life? Has a man ever lifted his hand to hit you?
No.
No. Wow. Praise God. Hallelujah. Now, I love you. I'm going to kiss you right dead on your nose when I see you, because that's a blessing. Because I do hear unfortunate stories of women who do say that they are physically abused, by men. But I also hear a lot of men who don't do it publicly. They talk about how bad they feel when a woman just goes at them and just tells them about themselves, especially if they don't think he's leading right, so to speak. They have a way of looking at him and the tone, because you guys can outdo your head, and you can outfix your lips, and you can outroll your eyes better than us. And it does something to us when we have to, to experience that. So with that being said, I love you so much. I thank you for participating, and I hope you're not offended in any kind of way. I hope you got to speak. I hope you don't feel like I dominated or persuaded you or manipulated you into anything, but I did. Why are you laughing?
No, because you know me, I want to speak my mind, and we don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree, but no, it's not a problem whatsoever.
Okay, well, thank you for participating. I'm gonna go ahead and let you go.
All right, baby.
I'm gonna see you soon. I'm looking forward to it, man. I can't wait. Almost. I know you haven't heard from me in a lot, but I don't know what we're gonna do, how we're gonna do it, but we're gonna set something on fire and burn it all the way down to the ground. We're gonna even burn the ashes. So, yeah.
Let me get through this, and we'll get it together.
All right. I love you.
All right, love you too.
All right. Have a good night. Okay. Bye. Well, there you have it, my friends. Another edition of SWIM, SWYM. That is the acronym for Say What You Mean. I am Travis Bridges, and I'm going to try to do a recap. I'm noticing that women are very aggressive. The bigger they are, the more bass they have in their voice. And the shorter the hair, the more aggressive they seem to be. And how do I say this? There's some other things that determine how aggressive, women can be. And I'm sorry, women who, are not offended, please stand up for me, because I'm not trying to knock any woman. But I do want to bring attention to, this back and forth that happens with not just, well, it doesn't happen too often with men. Men settle it right away. We start scrapping if you go too far back and forth with us as men. We usually don't do that. But when I hear, conversations that go on and on, where women in particular are over talking and out talking men, especially men that they trust and believe in. If you have no respect for a man, then by all means, dog him out. Put your mouth on him and just, make him feel bad. Just like, men who obviously don't have any respect for a woman that they would raise their hand to and strike. You can't have respect if that's the kind of thing you're doing. But for the women that do that, to certain types of men and in certain situations, then I'll just try to encourage, we're tough, and we are, according to the Bible, we are stronger, and the women are considered the weaker vessel. Not saying that you're weak or less than us at all, but as men, our strength means something more than just power, and we can't tell you what it makes us feel like when you go back and forth and back with something that we're trying to express. We don't always know how to talk. And sometimes we often say the wrong thing. But just like it doesn't give us a right to physically attack you because of our strength, I can't say it gives you a right to verbally attack us because of your verbal influence. So with that being said, no disrespect to anyone. Thank you for listening. Thank you for not taking what I'm saying out of context. And I hate to say this, but not that I want anyone to prove me wrong. But if you have something to say, in opposition to the point I'm making, which is I really just wish, and I'm speaking for men in a sense, I really wish women would be a little considerate. And the man show will be another time. Men should do some other things too, and I'm gonna go ahead and agree with that. But I'm, for this purpose only, women realize that although we're considered stronger and tougher, we have a tender side when it comes to that mouth that you can put on us, when it comes to verbalizing your thoughts and your views and your opinions and your feelings. We can't contend with that. And we definitely go down each time we get that strong lack of cooperation. Till the next time, have a good evening. Find someone you need to say I love you to. Don't just say it, but mean it. Good night.
SWYM. Swim. Say what you mean. As much as this information is designed to bring awareness to how we listen, hear, and process, it is also a form of therapy. The little person inside of all of us needs to be heard. As adults, even listening to ourselves is a form of healing, strengthening, and growth. It's okay to speak, talk, express yourself, and be heard, even if you're the only listener. If our testimony does anything at all for anyone else, that makes the continued effort worth the time. Get the words out. You'll feel better, and that's a promise. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
Sometimes it seems like all the good times are gone. But you got to keep on searching. You got to keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. For example, take me standing right here today. I would not be here with you if I believed the things that the people say. You got to keep on searching. Keep on searching. Keep it on the cool side. Keep it on the cool side. Keep on